So page 13, you're ready, right? You're writing this down? 4.2. That's if you follow the textbook, but I don't use a textbook anymore. 6 factorial, right? 6 exclamation mark reads 6 factorial. And what that means is you take the number, and then you multiply it by all the whole numbers that are below it, all the way down to 1. Okay? And it is found by if you want to find this exclamation mark, you go math, probability, and then 4. But I have a different way. This was actually thanks to a student. So I'll go or, you press alpha, the alpha button, followed by a trace. So let's go find it real quick. Actually, you should see it as soon as you press those 2 buttons. So alpha, trace. Sorry, I misled you. Sorry. Alpha trace? No. Sorry guys, it's alpha window. Alpha window, my bad. It's just a lot quicker to do it this way, in my opinion. So alpha window. So on your study sheet, please have this on there. I would say to find the exclamation mark, right? To find the exclamation mark, you need to press alpha window, and then you'll see it. It's option number 9. So you can either press number 9, or you can go down with the arrow and select it and hit enter. And then it will come with you to your home screen. Maybe do that already, because I do copy paste quite often. It's faster than going and pressing it every time. Okay? So what is 6 factorial? Let's try that. If you hit enter, it won't let you. You got to go 6, and then alpha, window. I know, this is a painful experience. You go 6 factorial, it's 720. So make your jobs a lot easier when this happens, which happens quite often. So we're just going to say this is equal to 720. Not degrees, just 720. So we know that calculate the following. 6 factorial is 720. Couple of things before I start with the rest here. In general, n factorial means the product of all natural numbers from 1 all the way to n, okay? Such that if you have n, this is the general rule here. It may look complicated, but it is really saying what's happening. So if you have n factorial, replace the n with any number you would want. You would start with that number, and then you would multiply it by the number minus 1, the number minus 2, the number minus 3, and you would continue that until you get down to 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's what this is saying. So if you had 10 factorial, right, then you're thinking 10, and then it's 10 minus 1, and then it's 10 minus 2, and that would continue on until you get to 3 times 2 times 1 at the end. So it ends up being 10, 9, 8, and so forth. Okay? All the way down to 3, 2, 1. So a couple of things here. I don't know if it's ever going to come up, but 0 factorial is just 1, flat out 1. If you forget, just type it into your calculator and you'll find out that it is 1. You cannot take the factorial of negative numbers or decimal numbers. The answer is undefined. Okay? So in short, no negatives or decimals. So let's try a couple here. Let's type that negative. So watch this. This is negative 5 in brackets like that. If you were to go alpha window and select the factorial symbol, it's going to give you a domain error. It's not possible. So you just say undefined. What about negative 8 factorial like this? That actually does work. You have to press the negative button in brackets, 8 alpha window 9, right? Call that factorial, and then that is going to work. Because the negative, it's outside of the 8, so it's going to take the factorial of 8 and then apply the negative in front of it. So that one does work, which is negative 40, 320. Okay? 0 factorial is just 1. Now I'm going to ask you to change. Can you add this to your paper here in your notes? I'm going to switch the wording to evaluate. What does evaluate mean? It means show work. That's what it is. You need to show how you got your answer, not just type it into your calculator. And if you see evaluate, all you need to do is spread out the number. So for example, 8 factorial at the top would go 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. In the denominator, you have got 6 factorial. That means that you're going to start with 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, like that. And I don't know if you remember, right? If things are multiplying, you can cancel them out, right? So this cancels out, cancel, 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 cancel. What are you left with in the numerator? 8 times 7, right? That's 56. So this whole thing, if you were supposed to evaluate, you would just do this and get 56. I used small numbers because it's easier to show you once with small numbers, but it really is important to do this when they're big numbers. Okay? So watch this next one. This is the only time I want you to ever actually write out the whole thing. It's too much work. So watch what I'm going to do here. 7 factorial is 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3, 2, 1, correct? Right? At the end here. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say 3 factorial. I'm going to say technically the 3 keeps going down all the way to 1. But why did I stop there? What do I have in the denominator? I have another 3 factorial, right? That means that their tails, they would all cancel out anyways. So why do all that work? I'm just going to ask you to do this. If you have a number with a factorial and the same numbers elsewhere in the denominator, also factorial, cancel them out just like that. So now you can do the math there. That gives you 840. 840. So this would be evaluate. I consider this enough work to get the marks for that. Okay. And you know what? Let's say you're like, I don't know if I did this right. I might have got, you can go 7 factorial if you'd like. Actually figure out what that is. Then you figure out 3 factorial. That's way too much work in my opinion. That's 6. Right, and then you just go top divided by bottom, and then you get 840 regardless. That's a way to check. Okay. I'm going to skip 6 over 4 factorial. I'm going to go 100 factorial over 97 factorial. I'm going to do this one. Can you try typing this into your calculator real quick? Try going 100 factorial divided by 97 factorial. I want you to see it. Try 100 factorial divided by 97 factorial. What do you get?
Hello, this is to provide an update on the hold and secure situation. We are still in a hold and secure situation. We are hoping to have updated information.
Your worst nightmare is about to come true. Being in math, stuck in math, indefinitely. Okay. Let's continue here. I need to make the point here. That is a math error. So you have no choice but to evaluate. So if, on the exam, if they make you evaluate, they will make it so that you can't use your calculator anyways. Okay? So what do you do here? Guys, follow along. 100, 99, 98, 97, stop. Why do I stop? Because conveniently, I have a 97 factorial in the denominator as well. Okay? And you're not going to get bonus marks for writing this all out to 1. So I would not go ahead and do that. Okay? So cancel, cancel. Now you can easily evaluate. So you can actually figure out the answer just like that. That is 970,200. So even our awesome calculators cannot handle too big of a number. Okay. What if you have 4 times 3 factorial? No problem. 3 factorial is 6. That's 24. You could type that into your calculator, no problem. For this course, to make your lives a lot easier, okay, I will suggest you do the following. On your study sheet, because you will see this a lot, and typing a factorial in every time is a painful thing. So I'm going to ask you to go all the way to 8 factorial, let's say. 8, 7, you're going to have these on your study sheet. Okay, 2 factorial is just 2, 3 factorial is 6, 4 factorial is 24, 5 factorial is 120, 6 factorial is 720, and then I need help. 5,040, and this one is 40,320. Add this to your study sheet. Because sometimes you'll have 8 factorial multiply 5 factorial multiply 3 factorial. And if you want to type that in every single time, factorial, factorial, you're going to go crazy. So if you just know what these numbers are, and yes, of course, if you forget, use your calculator, but I think we need to speed this up, okay? All right. I want you to try whatever is on 14 at the top here. For now, I'm just going to say homework for these two, but I want to go to permutations. Please stay with me. I know. So homework on page 14. Just these first two questions. I want you to evaluate and try to cancel that out as much as possible. And I planned this out. So let's skip a bunch of pages. Come with me all the way to 22. There's a method to my madness. You're still with me, right? We're probably stuck anyway, so I'm gonna try to get you out here before 3:30, but that's up to them, right? At 3:30. I didn't mean to say before 3:30. Page 22, permutations. Use a different color. Use a different color for this part. All objects are distinguishable and unique. We're assuming that. NPR is a notation used to represent the number of permutations and combinations that can be made from a set of n different objects where only r number of objects are being used in the arrangement. This, by definition, I'm going to use a different color for this one, guys, very important, implies no repetition. It's implied. Okay? So this is the formula. I want you to add that to your study sheet for permutation. Permutation is another fancy word for figure out how many arrangements there are. You can literally say, figure out the number of permutations for this picture, the number of permutations for this password. Okay, so don't let that throw you off. In a sense, we're not learning anything new in terms of concepts. So NPR, we would take whatever number n is, put a factorial to it, and then we would go n minus r in the denominator and put a factorial to it, and that's what's going to give us the answer. I'm going to skip to this part here. I'm going to tell you, I used my own words for this one. Here. N essentially is the number of options you have. So it could be 26 letters, 10 numbers. In a group taking a picture, it might be 10 people trying to take the picture. And R represents the number of slots to fill. So let's say you have 10 digits, 0 to 9, right? And you want to make a three character password. So you have 10, and you would have 3 slots to fill. That's how we will use N and R. Okay. So let's go. I'm going to skip all of this as well. I'm going to come back to that tomorrow, I promise. Let's go here and use permutation right here. An artist wishes to display 8 paintings, but it is told that she can only pick 5 paintings at a time since the space is limited. This is your N, and this is your R. Okay? You have 8 options, but you can only fill 5 slots. How many arrangements can the artist make? You would say 8, and we use pick, the word pick. 8, from 8 paintings, we pick 5 at a time. What would this be in terms of, if you use the formula, it would be 8 factorial over 8 minus 5 factorial. Trust me, you will not have to do this after this example. You can just type in 8 pick 5 into your calculator. But to a certain degree, we are going to use, so this is 3 factorial like this. And that would be, what was this? 8 factorial was 40,000 something, right? I told you to write this down, and I don't know it myself. 40,000, 320, divided by 3 factorial is 6, right? So let's just figure out what that is. 6,720. Ways. I'm getting to the other port. What were we using up until this point? We were using the fundamental counting principle. Guys, pay attention, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And we had 8 paintings. You would go 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4, correct? We can't have repetition because you're only picking from the paintings you have, so it drops like this. What do you think this will give you? Yeah, will you just trust me today? Yeah, because we don't have the time, but it gives you the same answer. So this is going to save us a lot of time. Instead of doing this, you can just type this into your calculator. Please grab your calculators right now. And here's how you want to start. You want to start with an 8. Then you want to go alpha window again. It's such a pain. I'm very disappointed in this part with this calculator. See where there's NPR? A little later we're going to go NCR as well. But right now it's NPR. Hit enter and then 5. So 8, pick 5. You hit enter. Boom, it's there. I don't want you, listen carefully, I don't want you to do this. in a word problem. Unless I specifically ask you to use the formula, I don't need you to do that. But I just need you to know that that's what you could do to get to your answer if you were stranded on an island without a calculator. Okay. You could do that. So 8 pick 5 would save you all this. By the way, you could have honestly, this whole thing could have just been down to that. What is the answer? 8 pick 5, 6,700, and then some ways to arrange this. Let's do one more. There are 11 candidates running for 3 positions. How many possible outcomes could there be? Which one is my N? Which one is my R? Yeah, so this would literally be 11, pick 3. Let's answer that. Copy paste, guys, copy paste, watch. You can go up, hit enter. You go 11, and then you just go arrow over to the R. 3, 11 pick 3, 990. You don't like this? You like your counting principle? There are 3 slots to be filled, 3 candidates. Maybe one is running for president, vice president, and treasurer, let's say. So you've got 11, 10, and 9, correct? So that's 990 ways. So this is using permutations. We call that perms. You get a perm, right? Perms, and this is called the fundamental counting principle. Regardless of how you do it, you're going to get there. Okay, regardless of how you do it, you're going to get there. This is what I'm going to ask you to do. If you go to page 22, I only want you to try. You don't have to use perms for all of them, by the way. I'm just going to say page 22 to 23. No, sorry. I am on page 22. 26 to 27.